Howdy folks, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about all 100 animals in Animal Jam, and I'm going to be ranking all of them. Not ranking them from like 1 to 100, rather rating them from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely awful, I never want to see it ever again, get it out of my face, and 10 being my absolute favorite. I'm sure you know what's going to be a number 10. This video is actually the result of a winning in a poll over my community page. My community poll actually was really close. There was times where my two video topics were tied, which means don't worry if your video topic didn't win. My next video is actually going to be the one on parasocial relationships, so keep an eye on that one. This one's going to be a little bit difficult and a little bit long to make, so I'm sorry if it came out a little late. This is a lot to go over. Going alphabetically and starting with the anteater, this one isn't really a fan favorite, but it's definitely a favorite of mine. It's not in my top 10, I don't think. However, this was the beginning, I think, of a new era of Animal Jam animals, where while more detailed than the classic animals, quote unquote, they are looking really good. I have a friend whose main look is an anteater, and that friend would probably murder me if I didn't put it at a 10, but I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's probably going to have to be an 8 out of 10 for me. A very good animal. I think it's designed very well, very intricate. I like the physics on its nose, however, it's just not 100% a favorite of mine. Second, we have an Arabian horse, and I am not a huge fan of it. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of any of the horses, even the Clydesdale horse over in Animal Jam Classic, but I would say that between the Arabian horse and the regular horse on Animal Jam Play Wild, I like the regular horse better. While the Arabian horse definitely isn't modeled poorly, the way that it is modeled just, to me, seems hyper-feminine. Not on purpose or anything, but I do think that it is pretty difficult to make looks on it, especially as a male player. So I'm going to have to give this one a 6 out of 10. It's not awful, but it's definitely not up there. Now we have Arctic foxes, another one that I think is pretty good and it's pretty popular in the community, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this one. Nothing about it really sticks out to me. I think that its face is a little bit small on its big fluffy head. I know that's what they actually look like in real life, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. 7 out of 10. Arctic hares. I don't like these in the slightest. They're modeled well, but I think that they're a little bit horrifying. Their dancing animations and honestly a lot of their animations make them look stretched out and almost humanoid in a way that I can't ignore. I do not like these whatsoever. I'm so sorry if you do. 3 out of 10. Arctic wolves are one of those classic animals that are really iconic for Animal Jam. That's for a reason. They do look really good. They're not one of my favorites, and I would say that a lot of items look really bulky or awkward on them. There was a problem for like a long time where spiked collars, for example, despite being iconic with the Arctic wolf, would clip through its chest fur. They did fix that recently, but a lot of people still don't like it. But again, it's iconic. Not one of my favorites, but still iconic. 8 out of 10. I am probably pronouncing this wrong, but next we have the Asiatic lion, the most recent addition to the Animal Jam family. I actually mentioned these in a recent video where I went over this month's update, and at the time, I honestly wasn't a huge fan of them. I think it is pretty cool that you could toggle on and off the mane and eyebrows, but the price upgrade, which is now 180 sapphires as opposed to the original 150, bothers me a little bit, as well as the fact that I'm not just huge on these in general. They were really popular and are really popular, especially for a new animal. I think they're designed pretty well. They have grown on me a little bit. I'm going to have to give them a 7 out of 10. Autumn coyotes. I'm going to get this over with as we say this now, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't like the reskins. I do not like any of the reskins in Animal Jam. And while I do think the coyote as an animal on its own is really good, we'll be getting to that later, it's a reskin. I don't like it too much. 3 out of 10. Bat-eared foxes. These were like kind of popular when they first came out, but honestly nowadays they're kind of mid. I'd say they're on the upper end of mid. They're modeled pretty well, though a lot of items do look a little weird on them in my opinion. They're not super great. They're not super awful. On the upper end of mid, I'd probably have to give them a 6 out of 10. Black buck antelope. Again, these are kind of mid. I don't really dislike them. I don't really like them. I think that their horns are really, really big and goofy, which is accurate to life, but I'm just not really a huge fan of how it's designed. It doesn't really stand out to me. It's just kind of all around okay. 5 out of 10. Brachiosaurus. I'm going to be honest with you right here. I love every single one of the dinosaurs in Animal Jam, or if you want to get technical with it, the archosaurs, as a nerd would say. But I'd say that the brachiosaurs are one of the ones that I like a little bit more. I don't like them too much. They're not like a favorite or anything, but they're pretty solid. I'd have to give them a 7 out of 10. Bunnies are absolutely classic, another really iconic animal of Animal Jam, but they do come with a particular stereotype of little kids playing Animal Jam, like the kind of adopt me kids. I do like them quite a bit. I don't use them very often, kind of because of the stereotype associated with them, unfortunately, but a lot of items look really, really good on them. The only downside is that they're kind of small, but I do like them quite a bit. They're kind of peak Animal Jam design, 9 out of 10. Camels need no introduction. I mean, maybe they do, because a lot of people apparently don't know that camels are in Animal Jam. They don't look very good. They're not very appealing. I've never used one in my entire life, and I don't really see many people, if any people, using them at all. That's because they don't look good. 2 out of 10. Capybaras. Listen, I know these were added because of the meme. I know that they're kind of memed on and not a lot of people use them. I know that not a lot of items look good on them, but I have a very big soft spot for Animal Jam capybaras. I like using them quite a bit in game, even though it's difficult to make outfits for them, and I know a lot of people might not agree, but I think these are one of the better designs in Animal Jam. 7 out of 10. Cheetahs, another peak Animal Jam design from the old days, definitely iconic. I only managed to get my hands on them recently because of the cat bundle. I love these guys so much. I think that these are absolutely iconic, well-designed, perfect examples of Animal Jam style. I have to give this the first 10 out of 10 of the bunch. Chihuahuas. Do I need to say anything else? 0 out of 10. Cougars. I really like these guys. They give me a lot of nostalgia because while I didn't have one back in the day for the longest time, one of my best friends growing up did. These guys are really nostalgic for me. I think they're really adorable. I like how they're designed. I like how the proportions of the real life animals are dramatized in this design. Honestly, peak Animal Jam design, 9 out of 10. Cows have got to be one of the best designed animals in recent memory. These were the first animals, I believe, to include toggleable features, which includes the horns and the udders. I like the customizability with these guys. I love how they look. I've been wanting cows in Animal Jam for ages, and they pulled it off 100% how I think the fans have been envisioning it. These guys are 100% at a 10 out of 10 for me. I love them so much. Coyotes. I like them. I think they're designed pretty well. Again, another pretty iconic Animal Jam design. But in my opinion, when it comes to the more popular animals, these guys are kind of forgettable. They kind of are in the ground where everything looks good on them. At least almost everything looks pretty good on them. So they are objectively well designed, just not one of my favorites. I'd have to give them a 7 out of 10. Crocodiles are one of the few animals in Animal Jam that I feel like had a lot of potential, but that potential was kind of missed. I'd love to see another shot at that quote-unquote style of animal with an alligator. I just kind of feel that crocodiles didn't perform very well. I want to love them, I really do, but I don't, and I don't really like them that much. I just think that they don't look super great. And I'm sorry, because I know that I have friends who really like the crocodile. 4 out of 10. Deer, in my opinion, are super underrated. I think that they look good in almost everything. I think that their design is super adorable and I love them so much. My only complaint for the deer is that they don't have antlers. I know that you could buy deer antlers as a clothing item, but I really wish that deers did have antlers that you could add on them by default, like how you can toggle on and off the Asiatic lion's mane. I really like them, and I like them more than I think a lot of people would. 7 out of 10. Direwolves. I really like direwolves. I feel like they're incredibly hard to style, but they're pretty good. I'd say that they're one of the nostalgic animals for me because of the Saber-tooth versus direwolves thing. I like them a lot, even if they are difficult to style, but I'd have to give them something around a 6 out of 10. I gotta be fair to them. While the Animal Jam elephant is very on brand for what I would imagine an elephant being in the Animal Jam style, and I do think that they're well designed, I'm really not a fan of these guys at all. They're very, very difficult to style. I just don't really like how they look. I'm sorry, elephant fans. It's gonna have to be a 4 out of 10 for me. Emperor penguins. I do not like them. I do not like them in the slightest. They look way too realistic for me. I understand that that is what emperor penguins look like in real life. However, in my personal opinion, they aren't styled enough for what Animal Jam style is supposed to be. I think they look creepy. They're not the worst thing I've ever seen, though. I'm gonna have to give them a 2 out of 10. Falcons. Honestly, the falcons in Animal Jam do the actual real life Falcon so dirty. In my opinion, the Falcon is my least favorite of any of the flying animals in Animal Jam or Animal Jam Classic. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the size or the scaling or the shape of the wings, they give the aesthetic to me of a plucked chicken, like a chicken that you'd be cooking for dinner. They look unfinished, they looked empty. I don't like them. 3 out of 10. Fennec foxes are objectively cute. I don't care what you have to say. They're not one of my favorite animals, but I do think they are designed very well. They're very easy to style. They're pretty popular. They have some pretty cute animations. I'd say they are all around very cute. I'd have to give them a 7 out of 10. I really wish that flamingos in Animal Jam were easy to style. I think they're designed very well. I think they are very cute. I just don't think that they're really easy to design like an outfit for an Animal Jam. If they were, it'd be a lot higher on my list because I think that they're really cute. But honestly, I would love to put them higher, but I can't, so I'm gonna have to put them at a 5 out of 10. Flying foxes are designed very well. I think that they're adorable. I like making little edgy emo fits with them, and they are one of my favorite of the flying animals in Animal Jam. I think that they're a little bit slept on. Of course, people do like them, and it's not like they're unpopular by any means, but I'd love to see them get a little more love than that they already have. I really like these guys. 8 out of 10. Foxes. Need I say more? The fox in Animal Jam are one of the most popular animals in-game ever. In fact, I would argue that they're even more popular than the Arctic wolf just because foxes are attainable for gems. I see foxes in every single land I go in Animal Jam. People love them. I love them. They're easy to style. They're pleasing to the eyes. 10 out of 10 without hesitation. French Bulldog. I am so sorry, Sweet Puggle. Negative 100 out of 10. What is that? German Shepherds. I'd say they are the best designed out of all of the Animal Jam dogs from that weird phase Animal Jam had where they're just adding cats and dogs. Honestly, my favorite to come out of the Animal Jam cats and dogs updates. They're really well designed. I think they're pretty iconic. I think they're fun to make outfits with, even if I don't use it very often. 7 out of 10. I will die on the hill that is loving the Animal Jam Giraffe. These guys are iconic, they're classic, they're very recognizable, but people just don't like them. When you talk about an animal that came from the glory days of Animal Jam, while giraffes might be understood to be an old, iconic animal, people don't really use them, and I think that's really sad because I love them. I think they're really adorable, I like their design, I love them just so much, and this is gonna be a controversial take, but I honestly have to put giraffes at 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, it's alright, like...
I'd have to give them a solid 5 out of 10. Halfway point, totally mid. The golden pheasants for me are an interesting situation where when they first came out, I absolutely loved the golden pheasants, but as time has passed, I've actually started to dislike them more and more. I don't know what it is about them. I got a really good fit for them when they first came out, but as time has progressed, I found them to be pretty difficult to design, and I mean, they're not bad, they're just kind of okay, but I'd say that they're the lower end of mid, so I'm gonna have to give them a 4 out of 10. I don't know what it is about the golden retriever that I dislike so much, but something about them is really uncanny to me. It might be the fact that the head is kind of shaped like the polar bear's head, and while I do like the polar bear design, I really don't like the golden retriever. I don't really know why that is, but honestly, I'd say that they're kind of badly designed. 3 out of 10. Okay, unpopular opinion again, but I'd say that gorillas are kind of overhated. I don't like them. Like, they're not a favorite of mine. I don't think they're awfully designed. I think they're middle of the ground, as opposed to a lot of people thinking like the worst of the worst. The only thing holding it from like an above mid ranking for me is the fact that unironically, I'm genuinely afraid of apes in real life. I'm afraid of monkeys, orangutans, gorillas. In real life, they like freak me out, and I don't know why. But I'd say that they're in Animal Jam in a way that is stylized enough that they look pretty cool. I wouldn't use one, but I'm kind of surprised that they're rated typically by people as low as they are. I'd say that they aren't really deserving of that, and I'll have to give them a 5 out of 10. Why do grizzly bears look like that? They don't even look like that in real life. Like, it's horrifying in Animal Jam. They're not that horrifying in real life. 1 out of 10. Himalayan cats are hard to design, and that makes me sad because I think they're really, really adorable. They're just not really much you could do with them. I'm sorry. 4 out of 10. Himalayan taurs are even worse. I think these guys are downright ugly, and I don't honestly see anyone using them, so I don't really know who would disagree with me. Sorry. 2 out of 10. Hippos aren't poorly designed. I'd say they're pretty accurate and they're pretty well designed, but I just really don't like them for fits, and I just kind of really don't like them in general. Again, sorry to hippos, but not really any fan clubs out there for you guys. 3 out of 10. The only reason I think horses are as famous and as iconic as they are is because there was a Jambassador back in the classic days of Jambassadors who had a horse as their main look. I don't think these guys look very good, especially in Animal Jam Play Wild. I'm just honestly not a fan. But they are iconic, so 4 out of 10. Okay, I am super biased because I love hyenas in real life almost as much as I love them in Animal Jam. These guys are designed amazingly, a lot of items look really good on them, I love their animations, I just love how quirky they look, I love them so much. Hyenas are 100% a 10 out of 10 in my book. I don't use these guys as much as I'd like to, but that's just because I have so many fits, but still, 10 out of 10. Pika? I don't really know how to pronounce these guys' names, but they're pretty forgettable. Honestly, when I was thinking about making this video, I forgot all about them. They're not awful, but they're not very well designed. They're just forgettable. 3 out of 10. Kangaroos. They're okay. I wasn't really a fan of how they were designed in Animal Jam Classic, but I'm also not a fan of how they're designed in Play Wild. I feel like both of them really missed the mark at what an Animal Jam kangaroo should or could be. They're just not super great. 4 out of 10. Koalas are cute, but I really wouldn't use one unless I'm making a spinny boy, which is a dead meme to begin with. These guys, especially in Play Wild, kind of just look they're more iconic in Classic, and in Play Wild they just really don't hit the mark. 4 out of 10. Komodo Dragons, on the other hand, definitely hit the nail on the head for me. I think these guys look great, I love how they're designed, I love how items fit on them, and honestly, something super iconic about them was when they were first released in Play Wild. I remember that was when the Ancient Dragon set was released, and everyone who had that was totally flexing. I love these guys, they have a soft spot. I'd have to give them probably a 9 out of 10. Legendary Eagles, all 4 of them. Why did every single one of the 4 reskins cost separate money? That was so much money just to spend on 4 different reskins. 0 out of 10.
There's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
How can you even say that, Dad?
Didn't like it.
I'm sorry, Lemur fans. 2 out of 10. No thanks. Lions, like the original lions, I'm not a fan of them. They are pretty iconic for what Animal Jam is, however their design is super duper bulky, and all of them have to be dudes because they all have manes. And while yes, in the wild there are female lions with manes, it is very, very rare. I just don't really like them too much. They're not my least favorite, and they are kind of iconic, but I can't forgive them. 3 out of 10. Llamas. I want llamas back in Animal Jam so bad. If we get another Fab 5 token, we better get llamas. They're one of my favorite Animal Jam animals, and they are one of my favorites, and I don't even have them in game. I'm missing 3 animals total in Animal Jam Play Wild, and they are one of them, and that makes me so mad. 10 out of 10. This is a very angry 10 out of 10. Bring llamas back in Animal Jam. I need one of those. Bring back llamas to Animal Jam. Anyways, now that I'm done yelling into the microphone like an unhinged lunatic, let's talk about lynxes. They're okay. I don't really know why, but I'm not a huge fan of them. I feel like just the cougars are better, and in my opinion, they've kind of been pretty exchangeable. I don't know, man. Just not a huge fan. 4 out of 10. The Maine Coon cats were done so dirty because these little fluff balls are so cute in real life, but in Animal Jam, they're just weird looking, super hard to style, probably one of the worst cats in the Cats and Dogs updates. Not a huge fan of them. Sorry guys, 3 out of 10. I'm not really sure why, but I was a really big fan of mammoths when they first came out, but nowadays I don't really care too much. I think they're kind of honestly very forgettable, especially since dinosaurs came out around the same time, which totally overshadowed them, but I do like them, and I think they're designed pretty well. Better than the elephant, at least in my opinion. For that, I'll have to give them a 5 out of 10. I can't really place what I don't like about these guys, but I really do not like the maned wolves in Animal Jam. Some people do make pretty good designs with them, I have seen people do so, but I am not one of those people. I just don't like them, they feel a little too feminine to me. Not really sure why, but I don't really like them too much. 4 out of 10. I have only seen one person in the entirety of Animal Jam who's ever made a good design with a meerkat. These guys, by default, look horrifying, they look humanoid. I do not like meerkats. 1 out of 10. Monkeys are in this really weird place where they are super iconic to Animal Jam, and like you can't really escape them in game because they are one of those animals that cost gems, so a lot of people have them. But I don't really like monkeys in Animal Jam. I like them even more so in Classic than I do in Play Wild, but I don't like them either way. They are iconic, they are classic, but I really can't forgive these guys. 3 out of 10. The moose. Am I the only one that forgot these guys existed? I don't think I've ever seen someone play as a moose in Animal Jam, at least like since they were first released. These are another animal that were super duper forgettable for me. I didn't even remember they existed until looking through a list of all the Animal Jam animals to make this video. Yeah, I forgot these guys existed. 2 out of 10. The opossum is another release that is super recent, and this is kind of one that split the community in two. People and like almost everyone was super hyped to get opossum in Animal Jam, and when they were released, either you loved them or you hated them. Some people thought they looked really ugly with their big forehead and small eyes, even though that's how they look in real life, while other people, like myself, loved these guys. I think these guys are really stupid looking in a gorgeous way. They look stupid and brainless, just like how real life opossums look stupid and brainless. And for that, I love them. I think they're super goofy, and I have to give them a 10 out of 10. The ostrich is one of those animals that I feel like are pretty forgettable for some people, but not for me. These guys are a little iconic because for the longest time after they were released back in the day, I had a fit for him, and he was supposed to be like a silly little photographer guy. I gave him his whole story, but they are kind of mid for an animal design. I can't really rank them too high, I can't really rank them too low. 5 out of 10. Do I even need to give you guys my opinion on the otter for you to know what I'm going to rank it? Otters have always been my favorite animal, point blank period. In real life, my favorite animal is the North American river otter. I think these guys are absolutely adorable, and they're helped in Animal Jam by the fact that the Animal Jam otter, despite being just labeled otter, is in fact designed after a river otter, which are some of the cutest little guys on the entire planet, and I love them so much. This has to be a 10 out of 10, but what were you guys expecting? It's my main look. My fursona, Archie, is literally an otter. While not my least favorite of the Animal Jam flying animals, I really don't like owls that much. I really think that they're difficult to design unless you're going for a nerdy fit. I have some friends who use owls, but I'm gonna be honest, the fits are kind of okay, they're kind of mid. I don't like them too much, they're on the lower end of mid in my opinion, so I'm gonna have to rate the owl around a 4 out of 10. Painted wolves honestly go really hard. They look awesome, they dress up pretty awesome, though some items look weirdly big on them, especially neck items like spikes look oversized on them. But I would say overall I do really like painted wolves. I have some friends who use painted wolves, which I guess is biased, but I do really like them, and I have to give them an 8 out of 10. Pandas aren't really iconic despite being released at the beginning of Animal Jam. They're just kind of there, really forgettable for the beginner starter animals, and don't really mean all too much to me. I'll have to give them a 4 out of 10. The Parasaur, however, despite being a super box Archosaur, is my absolute favorite Archosaur in Animal Jam, just barely in front of the T-Rex. I love these guys. They're adorable, items look amazing on them, the different eye shapes, even like the worst, less wanted eye shapes look amazing on them. I love them. I love them so much that I have a massive collection of them in game. Absolutely 10 out of 10, Peeb for life. The Animal Jam Peacock is honestly really ugly, and that's kind of sad considering the fact that peacocks in real life are supposed to be pretty and elegant. And it's also a little funny because if you didn't know, in real life, those peacocks with the big, beautiful blue and green feathers, yeah, those are the male peacocks. And so by default, all peacocks in Animal Jam are also male, which I find a little funny. But yeah, these guys are pretty ugly. I'll have to give them a 3 out of 10. Sorry, peacocks. The basic penguin in Animal Jam is another animal that is like very nostalgic to me for a couple of reasons. For one, like a few years back, Animal Jam did a promotion where if you typed penguins in the code bar, if you go to the settings in Animal Jam, it'd give you a free Animal Jam penguin and pet rockhopper penguin. But of course that's not a thing anymore, but it was really nostalgic at the time because at the time I was not really a new jammer, but a very inexperienced kid, and so that made me really excited. Between that and the Quackity raid on Animal Jam, penguins are iconic, and they're iconic for a reason. They look really good, and honestly, they're all around really well designed. I would like to use one more, but some items don't look super great on it. Regardless though, I'll have to give them something around a 6 out of 10. The platypus is an animal that I also really want to love, but can't really justify it. I mean, I love platypi in real life, and I love Harry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb, which is one of the sets it was given, was totally a reference to it, but it doesn't look very great. The body proportions are questionable. It looks like he has a really tiny waist and a big old chest, and it just doesn't look great, and a lot of items don't look great on it, and it looks super weird if you have a tail item on it. So unfortunately for the platypus, I'm gonna have to give it a 4 out of 10. Polar bears are one of the more controversial Animal Jam animals, not because they're particularly ugly or really, really good, but rather because they're kind of in that awkward middle ground where people either think that they're ugly or think that they're, alright. The thing with that is that I honestly find them super endearing. I think that they're adorable in a silly, stupid way. Do they look like actual polar bears? No, they look really goofy, but because of how goofy they look, I end up really liking them. And while I guess it is not objective speaking, but none of this is objective, I'm gonna have to give them an 8 out of 10. Look at that stupid little face. Another animal I can't pronounce, the papalanguar, something like that. I don't like them. They scare me so much, and I feel very bad because one of my biggest inspirations for Animal Jam art, hanging with my nomies, main look, is that animal. But for whatever reason in Animal Jam, they freak me out. I don't know if it's the long, skinny arms, or the big face, or just how items sit on them. I do not like them. They scare me. 0 out of 10. The porcupine in Animal Jam is one of those animals that are really forgettable. People really only use them for Sonic the Hedgehog cosplays, and despite being really cute in real life, they're pretty ugly in Animal Jam. I'm honestly not a huge fan of them. Sorry, 3 out of 10. The Pteranodon, on the other hand, is honestly for me very hit or miss. If they're good colors, they can be really good. If it's bad colors, they're really not worth anything in my eyes. A lot of items look really weird on the Pteranodon, like any really tail item, and I feel like they're pretty difficult to decorate in my opinion, but they're not awful, and I do like all of the dinosaurs, so I'd have to give them a 7 out of 10. The python, though, is absolutely iconic. For the longest time, the python was the only snake in Animal Jam, and it was, for a bit of time, kind of a status thing to have one. They don't look really good with most items, unfortunately. 99% of back items and tail items look absolutely awful on the python, but its base design is very good. Unfortunately, in the past I probably would have ranked it higher, but since the release of the Viper, which in my opinion, despite being sort of a reskin, does the python way better, I'm unfortunately going to have to give this python only a 6 out of 10, but it is a very high 6 out of 10 if that makes any sense. The Quokka is an animal for me that kind of came out of left field when it came to Animal Jam. If I'm entirely honest, I never knew that animal existed before it came to Animal Jam, and since it has come, I have to say, it's adorable. The little thing is so cute, and I want to squish it, and I want to hold it, and I want to take him home with me. But I can't really use it for fits very often because I do struggle to decorate it, though it's not that items look bad on it, it's just that I kind of suck at decorating animals, come to think of it. It is really cute though, and I do think that its design is very solid, and I'd have to give it something around a 7 out of 10. The raccoon is another animal in Animal Jam that is entirely iconic. We love it. Everyone loves him, and if you don't love him, you're wrong. My best friend Lala uses a raccoon in Animal Jam, and they look adorable. Some items can look a little stretched out on them, but I'd say for the most part, most items do look fine on the raccoon, and I absolutely adore their design. I'd have to give them a 9 out of 10. The rainbow raccoon, on the other hand, is absolutely garbage. I can understand the sentiment when putting it out, and I know that a lot of people in the LGBTQ community like them simply because it's easy to make pride fits with them, but if you don't intend on making a pride fit with a rainbow raccoon, doing any fit other than a pride fit can be really difficult. The color combinations on them can look really garish, and some of the different spots that you can't entirely control the color of have really weird logic when it comes to color pairing. I really don't like how it looks. They look very eyesore, very much 2015 scene core material. Not really up my alley. Unfortunately, because of that, and because they are a reskin, I have to give them a 3 out of 10. The red panda in Animal Jam is absolutely adorable. It's definitely not an animal that I would use, but I cannot deny in saying that those little guys are some of the cutest things that they have to offer in Animal Jam. Its design is solid, and I honestly don't really have any complaints. 9 out of 10. The rhino, on the other hand, is incredibly difficult to decorate, like, at all. I think that's kind of objective, considering its wide and kind of strange body shape. I do think that they are, at least in my personal opinion, a little bit endearing, but it's not that solid of a design. I have to give them a 4 out of 10. I absolutely love the Animal Jam Saber-tooth. In fact, I like it more than the Animal Jam Direwolf, and of course that is a little bit of bias because I was on Team Saber-tooth. I just really like them a lot. Similar to direwolves, their bulky body shape can make them difficult to decorate and dress up, but I still do like them overall, and I do find them a little bit easier to decorate as compared to the direwolf, and I will have to give them a 9 out of 10. Unfortunately, like a lot of the other Animal Jam cats, like the domesticated cats, the Scottish Fold cat doesn't really have a lot to write home about. It's a lot of missed potential, it doesn't really look great, and it's on the lower end of mid. 3 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Animal Jam seal. In some ways, it's really easy to dress up, though tail items can be a little bit wonky on them. But they're not my favorite. I do find them really cute. I have a really nice seal fit that I enjoy, and there's some awesome people that use the seal. It's just not one of my top favorites. Very good, solid design, though. That is like 100% agreed. 8 out of 10. The Animal Jam sheep is a really silly goober. I have absolutely zero complaints with this guy, and I don't know what to say. 9 out of 10. The Siamese cat, however, I'm not a huge fan of. I will say that it probably is one of the best designed cats in Animal Jam, so the domesticated cats, I mean. But I still don't really like it. Its arms and legs and tail are super noodly, and while Siamese cats in real life are sort of lanky, it just, in my opinion, doesn't translate very well to Animal Jam. But it is one of the better Animal Jam cats, so 5 out of 10? I'm not hearing any of you out. The Siberian Husky in Animal Jam is just the worst version of the German Shepherd in Animal Jam. There's no redeeming qualities. If you want to get a dog, just get the German Shepherd. 2 out of 10. I really, really want to like the Play Wild Skunk because I really love the Animal Jam Classic Skunk. But for whatever reason, to me, the Skunk in Animal Jam Play Wild feels like a massive downgrade. It wants to be cute, but it doesn't really hit the mark. It's just kind of uncanny for me. 4 out of 10. I do not like the Animal Jam Sloth. 0 out of 10. The Animal Jam Snow Leopard is another really, really iconic animal. Honestly, if you played Animal Jam back in 2015 or 2016, almost every Warrior Cats role player used the Snow Leopard, and for good reason. They dress up pretty well, they're really cute looking, and you can make any sort of fit with it and make it work really well. It's very flexible of an animal. You can kind of portray any sort of style with it, and I love it a lot. It's one of my favorite animals in Animal Jam. I think I have like 6 of them, 10 out of 10. The spooky Arctic wolf, though, is absolutely awful. In my personal opinion, you cannot make any good fit with that thing, unless you're going for a very specific emo Halloween look. Otherwise, it just looks kind of gross and dusty, and I hate it. 0 out of 10. The Spring Bunny is another recolor. I mean, it's not the worst recolor we have, but not much to write home about. 3 out of 10. The Stegosaurus in Animal Jam is probably honestly it is probably my favorite of the non-Superbox Archosaurs, and I love its animations. It's really goofy and over the top, and I like it quite a bit. It's not my favorite Archosaur design, but it's definitely up there. 8 out of 10. This might be a little controversial, but I actually do quite like the Tarantula. It is, admittedly, very difficult to decorate and to dress up and do much of anything with, but I do find it very endearing, and it's definitely my go-to for Halloween fits. It's really cute. I have to give it a 7 out of 10. I don't really have much to say about the tiger. It's iconic, it's a starter animal, it's kind of middle of the ground, but that's about it. 6 out of 10. I want to like the tortoise in Animal Jam, but it's really difficult. Its shell makes it really hard to use back items, and not much looks good on it. It's just kind of sad. 4 out of 10. A similar thing can be said for the toucan. It's okay, it's not great, a little difficult to dress up, but it's fine. 5 out of 10. Of all of the non-Superbox Archosaurs in Animal Jam, I'd have to say that the Triceratops is probably my least favorite. It's not awful, I do like all the Archosaurs, it's just the most difficult to dress up and the most difficult to make look good, at all in my opinion. For that, I do have to give it a 5 out of 10. The tufted deer is horrifying. I mean, it is similarly horrifying in real life, but it's even worse in Animal Jam. It looks like something straight out of my nightmares. 2 out of 10. While a lot of people understandably complain about the viper essentially being a reskin of the python and having all of its animations, I like it a lot more than the python. I love its design, I love the unique patterns you can do on its scales, even though you can't really use tail items with it, I like it a lot, and for me, personally, it's a 10 out of 10. Of every single animal in Animal Jam, the basic wolf has got to be the most iconic and, in my opinion, the most stylized. It's really goofy, lanky, and gives the vibes of some sort of villain that's sneaking in the shadows and watching you. I love it. Decorating it can be a little difficult because it is really skinny and weird looking, but I find it super charming and I love them so much. I also like Greeley quite a bit, so that might also be why. But I do really like the Animal Jam wolf, and for me, this iconic design is a 10 out of 10. The Wolverine for me is a bit of a forgettable one, but I'm not really sure why, because the design isn't mid, it isn't bad, the design is genuinely good, and I have seen some really good fits put together for the Wolverine. I like it a lot, it's just not my personal call, and I have to say that it's a 7 out of 10. And of course, last but not least, we have the zebra, which I personally like quite a bit. I feel like they're pretty easy to decorate, and I think they're absolutely adorable. I have to give them personally a 9 out of 10 just because of how good they are. But with that being said, that's it. I rated all of the Animal Jam Playwild animals as of this month's update, which at this point we do have 100 animals to rate. And geez, am I tired, and is this thing going to be a pain to edit? Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and thank everyone for who voted on the community poll. Don't worry, because my next video coming up will be the video on parasocial relationships, which was the other option of the community poll. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your opinion on all the different Animal Jam animals, and let me know what you think of my ratings. Of course, I'm not going to be able to please everyone. These are my biased personal opinions, and so I hope you understand that I may have some hot takes here and there. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all around.